Hey there, it's Colleen Coles. I hope you're having a great day today. My video is on intuition, and I've been diving into the subject of intuition um, most recently just because I feel the need to really tap into the wisdom inside, especially with, the chaos that's just part of everyday life, of making hundreds of decisions every day, of feeling like, we're on track, we're on purpose, and in what is in best interest for me. And I'm sure that you too can feel that. That intuition is that inner guidance system, that feeling of alignment, that feeling of being supported from outside of just your own action. And so I want to share with you what I've discovered in my own journey of studying intuition, not only just recently, but over 10 years really, and help you see the difference between your ego and your intuition. Um, so, uh, First off, these are the three C's you can tell between your ego, which is your mind, your fear-based state, and usually when we make a decision from the ego, it doesn't always turn out to be the best. And then your intuition, that inner wisdom within, that like inner truth, inner knowing, that settled, balanced state. So here are the three ways you can tell between your ego speaking and your intuition. So the first C is convincing. The ego will have a tone of convincing you into something, right? So if you're having a hard time deciding on, maybe spending money for a investment of your education, for example, think about it where like the ego mind could come at it like this harsh kind of, well, didn't you think of this? And oh my gosh, what about that? And like trying to convince you. And the way that I look at it, it's like, to me, it needs to convince because it already knows the truth and it can see that like what it's trying to do is not the truth, so it's trying to convince you otherwise, right? Because like it knows too the truth. So for example, say like, oh God, but that's so much money, and like, oh, I don't think I can do that. I don't know if I can, and so like that whole the energy of the fear, really, it's the fear mind, right? So also though, fear can be a valid concern. It can be a guiding light as well. But the energy is totally different. That convincing tone is when you know that's not you, that's your ego, right? So the second way is contracted. You can know that it's your ego talking when you're feeling contracted, right? So just your inner state, your energy state. I'm not really talking about your emotion, right? Which can be easily confused and make this stuff seem woo-woo. But I'm not talking about emotion. I'm talking about your frequency, your energetic state. So when we feel more contracted, even in the moment of needing to decide something or feeling into one type of decision compared to the other, when we're feeling more contracted, that is the ego. That's not our highest truth. So, what does the intuition look like? The intuition feels and looks like expansion. It feels balanced. It feels like you're coming from your center and looking outside. It feels like it's not you grasping everywhere. It's an expansive, settled awareness and balanced state of truth. So we got those two C's. The last C of how you can tell between your ego and your intuition is that your ego changes. It changes. It might say one thing and then, the next moment you ask it, it'll say a different. Well, but did you think of this though? I don't know. Like, what about this? And that just causes so much indecision, right? It's just not freaking worth it. Personal experiences on this, man. I did The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Great book, great read. But for me and my dharma, I feel there was a lot to learn from that because, frankly, I unvalued myself by giving so much away that I had like nothing left. So that was my own journey. But I remember with every shirt that I picked up and said, does this bring me joy? It was all a matter of the head. I was just letting my head do it. And what was interesting was that every time I showed a shirt up, it was like, yeah, I love it. And then it was like, well, do you though? but okay, no, I don't. And then I'd look at it again, I'd put it in the no pile, and I'd look at it and be like, maybe I really do love that shirt. So then it's like, and it wasn't even like me doubting, it was like my ego saying like, well, maybe you like that shirt, like maybe you like that shirt. So I was like, oh God, what do I do, right? So also sometimes when I pick up food, health was a big issue before, and I was like really honing in, and so I'd have this big debacle about it. It happens still. It's like, I'm like, ooh, I love that peanut butter. And so then I'm reaching for the peanut butter, and then I see in my mind's eye, like, oh no, don't do the peanut butter, don't do the peanut butter. And it's like, but I thought you just, like, said, go for the peanut butter, right? So see the fluctuation, see that frequency? It sucks, right? But the contrary then is the intuition. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. So in that moment, especially with the food now, when I just acknowledge that that's not me, that's my ego, I tend to step out of my brain and literally just listen to the silence in my physical state, drop back into my body, and see how I feel about it. If it feels okay to just eat the peanut butter, then I eat the peanut butter, right? But it doesn't change, and it's a state of balance and of peace. That's your intuition. So I hope this has served you. Just to wrap up, the 3 C's again of knowing when your ego's talking instead of your intuition is when it is convincing you, right? Because the intuition doesn't need to convince, it's just an inner knowing and a balanced state. Number 2 is contracting. When the ego's talking, you have a physical, visceral, energetic feel of being contracted, rather than intuition is more expansive, light. And the third is that it changes, right? It can say like, oh yeah, go for this, and later be like, oh, that was such a bad idea. It's still the same thing talking, right? It's the ego. And it's changing, right? Or even in the little things. So, but the intuition instead doesn't change. It's the same inner truth, morning, noon, and night. So I hope this has served you. PM me if this is relevant to you, how you would use this in your life. I also want to share I'm doing a live lecture in my hometown all about intuition. It's about how to use it in your daily life, and it's this Saturday. I was thinking of doing a Facebook Live for it, and if that would be of interest to you, let me know in the comments or PM me so I set that up. So let me know, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks, Suzette. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Angie. Hey, Heidi. So good to see you. Yeah, so thanks for joining, guys, and have a wonderful day. Yeah, let me know if this is interesting to you and what else you would need to in terms of tools and telling how to use your intuition. We focus more on the ego today. So let me know what you would like to hear, and I'll make a video about it. Cool. Have a great day. Namaste. Bye-bye.